Hey guys, welcome to the Wrestling Escape Pod and welcome to this very special episode. This is only the second time that we have done this. Of course, I am joined by the Boston boy himself, Tommy Toy Travels. Tommy Toy Travels, shout out to you. How are you, my friend?
I'm back.
You are back. You are back.
Yep.
This is week number 2, isn't it, of you being back home?
Number 2.
Yes.
Back home, yeah.
And how is it going?
Do you see that right there?
Oh, hello. What is it?
A Spider-Man blankie.
Oh!
That basically answers your question of how are you.
Amazing. A Spider-Man blanket. Brilliant. Is it just, what is it, on the bed or floor? I don't even know.
It's my bed.
Your bed is behind you. I never knew
Yes.
this. I thought this was your... Oh, there is a bed.
Yeah.
I thought that was your study. You've got a bed in your study.
It's a hybrid room.
Whoa.
That's what I call it.
A hybrid room.
Yes.
It's a study bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Very much so.
I still don't understand why the walls are so plain. Would you not fancy putting up a Spider-Man poster? You seem to have a real connection with Spider-Man.
I think I have some Harley Quinn posters somewhere. I don't know where I put them. But
You could have like a Spider-Man maybe shooting a web and like coming down from the ceiling. Like a kid's mobile.
Yeah.
You could have one of them. That would be cool.
I'd be down.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say no to that. That would be awesome.
Well, there we go. Now that explains why the wardrobe's in the room as well. So things are starting to make a bit of sense now. Mm-hmm. And hopefully we can make a bit of sense of these questions that we've been sent. Because as we've said, this is only the second time that we're doing this. This is a question and answers kind of video. And I'm really excited for this because I was tempted to do some research. I was tempted to look at the questions beforehand. But I've largely stayed away. I only just had a look to see how many we'd had to see if we, could even do this episode. And we have had so many questions come in. It's absolutely brilliant. So that's why I'm in a bit of a let's get to it. Like, let's get stuck in and let's try and shout out as many people as we can. So let's get started, shall we? Gorilla Press YT. Really started to join us quite a bit on this channel and over on the Wrestling Days streams as well. Gorilla Press says, will you allow us to join you and Wrestling Days sometime? So, that's been something that's been floated, hasn't it? The idea of having guests onto the pod. I remember you putting up, should we get a wrestler? And I remember me saying to you, what would we have done if that had won? And he turned around and went, I don't know. If anything sums this podcast up, that is it. That is it. Mm-hmm. We literally just go, yeah, should we do this? Okay, but what happens if that wins? No, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Because the whole Svetlana thing went really well.
I left them on red.
Well, look, in answer to that, we will... I don't know. There's no plans, is there? Let's be honest. There's no plans at the moment.
No, basically my go-to answer is that while the fantasy, it's really exciting, the reality of it is that you are in the UK, I'm in America. Try and get us to be able to record at the same time was really a challenge. So once we add a third person into the mix, better be someone like Linda McMahon. Otherwise, it's just not going to be worth it. Because everything... We saw Craig left last week, so...
I know, yeah. It is true. It is true. Discord keeps failing us. Our little audio recorder keeps leaving us. I'm not sure that we're in any position to add anyone. The things we've got keep leaving. You are absolutely right. Right, Sunny Wolf, who is always in the chat. Sunny Wolf, we've had this question before, but there is a bit of a follow-up to it as well. So, is there a moment in WWE that almost made you stop watching? So I think we have touched on this before. I remember saying that during the Attitude Era, just towards the end of it, that's when I started to work and I couldn't give it the same amount of time. You did leave, didn't you? But did we establish,
Yes.
was there a moment that made you leave? Or again, was it like personal life kind of thing?
I think it was more just like realizing that I preferred independent wrestling and WWE for it's very formulaic. And once you watch a few years, you start to get the rhythm, the steps. Some people enjoy that, but for me, it just felt like retreading old territory with just new faces. So I pieced out around the time that D. Bry pieced out.
Oh,
I
okay.
think.
When he retired, you retired.
Basically, yeah. And he came back, and I was like, "Sorry, dude.
No,
I'm done."
I'm not quite there. You can come back, but I'm not quite there yet, Daniel Bryan.
Exactly.
So you did step away. I said that there was a bit of a follow-on. So you did step away. So this is a non-wrestling question now. What would you say then has kind of filled your time? Because of course wrestling takes up a lot of time. So if you have stepped away and now you don't watch like Raw, SmackDown on a regular basis and everything, is there something else that's kind of filled that void? And as we said, it can be non-wrestling.
Yeah. Probably just like reading, watching TV, going out, normal people stuff. I became very basic, very normie,
Okay.
unfortunately.
And is there like any particular shows that you've really got into that you've enjoyed, or any particular like series of books? Or I mean, what kind of books is it? Fiction?
Romance.
Romance.
Yeah.
Beautiful, lovely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Have you got a favorite author?
Stephen King writes the best romance novels.
Do you really like Stephen King?
I do like Stephen King. I think he's a good writer. I appreciate his stuff.
Have you got like a favorite Stephen King book at all?
That's quite a question. I'm going to go for Cheap Pop, The Cell, taking place in Boston, Massachusetts. Shout out to Stephen King for writing a book in Boston. It's not the best book, but it's Boston, baby.
Okay, fair play. Yeah, fair play. I mean, me and books, we have zero relationship. I think I was like forced to look at one at school, and I had to do some kind of report on it. Outside of that, I'm pretty sure I'm allergic to them. So I have no. I can't even tell you things that I think Stephen King wrote It.
Yep.
And probably something else. But honestly, I wouldn't be able to tell you any. I don't know. I don't know how many books he's written or anything. It is really a weak subject, that, for me.
That leads me to a question for you. Have you read any of the WWE books?
No, I'm allergic to books. I don't know how to get this across. I can't.
So you haven't even cracked open the Bella Twins Bible, the Daniel Bryan Bible, the Rock Bible?
No. I've got I have got some books. In fairness, I did actually, thinking about it. I did when I went to America. I went through a phase of going to Florida quite a bit. Like when I first started working, you get so excited when you get your first paychecks. Do you know what I mean? Like your first pay, you're like, "Oh, I can't believe it! Like this is more money than I've ever had." And obviously, like I'd met a load of new people at work and everything as well, and they were wrestling fans as well, actually. And so we got, like someone comes up to you on your lunch break and they're like, "Have you seen that you can get a flight to Florida and 2 weeks in a hotel for £600?" What, really? You can get over to Florida and you can stay like 2 weeks, £600? Yeah. Like you save 1,500. Yeah, okay, it's going to take a while, but save 1,500. Just think of the holiday we could have. We could go. It's like, oh man, 1,500. Okay, that is going to take a long time, but wow, to go to Florida, and for some reason I just got into this. I just did it every couple of years. I just went to Florida, like with like a few mates from work, and it was amazing. We had the best time. So yeah, absolutely loved that. But I can remember like getting a book the one time went over. It was Andre the Giant, all about Andre the Giant, and I did read that, and it was excellent. So I think actually it's always in the background. It's always on the shelf in the background. Is that Andre the Giant book, the exact one that I got and read in Florida. I did buy, actually, when I went again. Do you know what? Actually, I've got a big relationship with books thinking about it. Because last time I went, I got A.J. Lee's book, but I haven't read it.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't read the A.J. Lee one.
No. I don't recommend.
Oh, why?
It's one of those books that make me dislike the person. Yeah. She wrote it like from herself because it's a biography, and just the way that she wrote her character, I was just like,
don't say I love AJ Lee. That's why I bought the book. But you're saying don't read it. Okay. Oh well, I won't read it.
You might enjoy it.
Oh, I don't know now. Now you've put that seed in my head, and now I'm thinking I won't.
My mom said the same thing. It wasn't just me. Mommy Toy Travels said.
What, Mummy Toy Travels? Is Mummy Toy Travels into wrestling?
Oh, she loves books, yeah.
She loves books. But would she read a book about AJ? Does she even know who AJ Lee is?
She is well versed in all things WWE.
Fair play.
I think she's more versed than me. My dad texted me last night. Was like, "Watched Raw, bud. It was good." I was like, "Okay, thanks, Dad."
What, your dad texted you that this week, that Raw was good this week?
Yeah.
Your dad is insane. Raw was an absolute car crash this week. No, tell your dad, honestly, I think it got the lowest score I've given a show this year. It got it was awful. If your dad watched it and thought it was good, then honestly, I want to be more like your dad. I really want to be more like your dad because I was struggling to sit through that show. Oh, we need to get your dad on. I need to know what your dad's watching or what's your dad seeing.
Yeah.
I need to pick your dad's brain. I tell you, amazing.
He saw something in it.
He saw something
that we all missed.
Yeah. That's amazing. Right. Okay. Honestly, I could go on with Sunny Wolf questions because the thing about Sunny Wolf is she doesn't just ask one. I think she's allergic to asking just one question. She fires in about 20 at a time. So if we get time, I will revisit another Sunny Wolf question. But shout out to you, Sunny. You know it's nothing but love, my friend. Right, next up, we've got Lewis / Creed, who goes by the name Creed, which is a great name. Hello. My question, is there any WWE stars that are being buried, I tell you, who that you would see doing great in AEW? And can I just tell you that I am sitting here feeling a little bit guilty because guess what arrived in the post yesterday? And guess...
The dirt.
Yes. And also guess what is in a completely different room that I can't grab right now.
The dirt, but this is good. This will have everyone come next week for dirt reveal.
The dirt reveal. I'm telling you, dirt is here. My little piece of Florida has arrived. I'm going to see if I can get planning permission to build a little house on it, but it's in a capsule about this big. But yeah, it has finally arrived, so the dirt is here. So, any stars that you think would do well in AEW?
I'll let you take this one first, and then I'll hop in at the end.
Sure. So thinking about, you can go with the big names like Roman Reigns. It was really surprising to me that Jericho came out not long ago and said that he would love to have Roman in AEW. And for some reason, this turned into a story. Like, people seem to be surprised that Jericho would want Roman. Roman's one of the coolest looking, most popular stars in all of wrestling. And I think, honestly, anyone right now that is clinging on to the hope that AEW is trying to be different to WWE, I think that boat has sailed. AEW, for me, is just another flavour of WWE. You know, that kind of the sports-based stuff that we were promised. You can argue there's a little bit of it there with the rankings, but honestly, by and large, Matt Hardy changing clothes underwater, orange juice being dumped on Jericho, Marco stunt, all this kind of stuff. Like, there's loads of stuff that really just makes it seem like AEW is a different flavor of like WWE. And I'm not saying that as a knock, because I think what AEW has done in its first year has been excellent. It's had great views. It's a brand that's growing, and it needs to establish an audience. I know that there's hardcore wrestling fans that are going to stick with it because they love the Young Bucks, they love Kenny, they love Hangman. But how do you attract those other fans? How do you grow? Well, copying what WWE do isn't the worst idea in the world, is it? So bringing in some of those WWE elements, I'm not knocking it. But yeah, that's why it surprised me that everyone was like, they want Roman. Like, yeah, they definitely want Roman. They'd kill for Roman. They'd kill for Seth. They'd kill for Becky. They want those names. They want those big names. They'll take Brock. They would take Cena. Of course, they would want all of those people. So they would take all of that top talent. But the question is, who is being buried at the moment? And obviously, none of those are being buried that would do well. And who is being buried at the moment? I mean, honestly, I would say anyone that's on the main roster in WWE that's kind of being overlooked would do well. I mean, Shorty G, who used to be known as Chad Gable, repackage him. He'd be an incredible wrestler. He is an incredible wrestler. He's a former Olympian. So he would do incredible. Liv Morgan, who isn't really getting utilised all that much. She is massively over. People love her. So, if her contract wound down, it's not as if she's getting title opportunities. I don't know that she's getting buried, but she would get highlighted and she would do very well in AEW. I think if you're a wrestler that's managed to get to WWE, then you would have got to the NXT, brand, and then you must have succeeded to have got to the main brand. There's not really anyone that's just going straight into Raw or straight into SmackDown. So if you've made it to Raw or SmackDown, you're already at such a high level. You've already made it in many ways. I would say I can't think of anyone that would not work on AEW that's on that main roster. Even King Corbin, they would repackage, I would imagine, and turn him into just a heel that people hate, which is kind of what he is now anyway. So I don't know. I know it's difficult for you, isn't it? Because I know you don't watch like week in, week out, and you just watch like a few bits and bobs. Is there?
Dave, this is an easy question for me.
I apologize.
Super easy.
Take it away.
Well, just to piggyback off what you said, I was listening to, I think it's like an hour and a half interview, Dave Meltzer and John Moxley talking about AEW.
Okay.
And I think a lot of what you say is true about it just being a different flavor. And it seems like what the flavor they're going for is non-scripted promos, but still storylines and all that jazz. So I agree with you. It is very WWE, but their secret sauce, which is not so secret, is that they allow wrestlers to speak. But to answer Lewis / Creed, I'm going to say no one. This weekend, I was watching Beyond Wrestling's #Wear Sunscreen, and Joey Janela was in a match with Kimberly, TNA's Kimberly. So AEW versus TNA. And Nick Gage was on commentary, and he basically said, like, Joey Janela had his world in front of him, signed to a huge promotion, and where's he been? And that just hit me. It's like, yeah, where has he been? Because I don't watch AEW Dark. I don't watch any of the YouTube stuff. I just see the show, and I know they have so much talent in AEW, yet I barely see any of the talent unless they're just standing in the crowd clapping. And it's just so bizarre because they have such great names and such great talent, and they're just not being utilized. So it seems like that's a current problem on AEW's hands. So for right now, for a WWE superstar that's getting buried, I'd say maybe go somewhere else.
It's a really interesting point. That's a really interesting point. It's funny actually, because I was criticizing AEW on a stream the other day, and I was saying that I don't think they've booked the WWE talent very well. I was like, Brody, I think they could have done something better than him being the exalted one, I think, was fine, but Dark Order's just not all that. Like, I'm not a big Dark Order. I like the original vignettes, but I've not really been into the Dark Order. And then what else was I saying? I was talking about Matt Hardy changing clothes underwater, which really bugs me. I hate that. I hate the supernatural stuff, but I think that he has kind of gone back to being more himself now, and I think that that's going to work better. And I'm trying to think what else. Sean Spears, Ty Dillinger. He hasn't had a great run either. So I was just going through this list and saying I don't think they've booked them very well, but I think they've booked Cody and Kenny and Hangman and Jericho and people like that. Like, I suppose the bigger names, if you will, from WWE. I think they've done very well with them. And as I was saying this, AEW was actually in the stream. The official AEW account was actually in the stream. I was talking all this, and I had no idea that they were there. And there was people saying, like, Dave's AEW here, Dave's AEW here. I think C Wrestling even turned around and went, Dave, do you want me to kick AEW out, mate?
Yes!
And all of this. And I was like, yeah, kick him out. But even as they were saying that, I was like, oh, it's not the real them. Someone showed me a screenshot, and it had the tick next to the name, and it was the verified account and everything, right? And they dropped a message, and they said, Days, just keep watching. That's what they said, Days.
Yeah, that's what they always say.
Yeah, but in all fairness, they did put the TNT title onto Brody Lee this weekend, just gone. So I'm taking credit for that. I'm taking complete credit for that, right? I don't want to come out and say that that's because of me, but I was saying that they hadn't booked him very well, and then, boom, gets the title that weekend. Hello. Right, so you do the math. So, yeah, there's nothing like bad mouthing a company whilst they're actually in the chat. But, look, I think you make a great point. How was that show, by the way, Beyond Wrestling, you say?
Oh yeah, it was fun. I love these shows, these outdoor shows on the Jersey Shore, because it's just gorgeous having the ocean right behind them. I haven't watched any of the GCWs yet, but I watched the two Beyonds, and Beyonds were fun. I know that this weekend's one was all intergender. I know there's some controversy around that, but the best match was the tag match with Culture Season, and I forget the other, but in my opinion that was top tier, and I recommend anyone check that out because it's really good.
Did you was that on Fight, or where did
it was on Indie Wrestling.tv, IWTV.
Oh, okay. And do you subscribe to that? Is that something you have to subscribe to?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm with New Japan and them. What about you? Are you everywhere?
No, I'm not on that indie thing. I didn't even know about it, if I'm being honest. I mean, it's just not part of my schedule. That's the problem. Is like what with watching Raw, watching SmackDown, watching NXT, AEW. I mean, I've got people saying, "Are you going to get back into New Japan?" It's like I pay every month for New Japan World, and I never get a chance to watch it. Yeah, there's a big show this weekend coming for New Japan. And
I didn't know.
Yeah,
I've just been watching their US stuff because it's easy, once a week, and it's like cool.
What is the US stuff?
NJPW Strong. It's just like the guys stuck in the US right now. It's just super digestible, super good wrestling. I'd recommend it if you obviously don't have time, so I don't recommend it. But it's
What day is it on?
Simple. Friday after SmackDown. It competes with us when we have our live podcast.
The last thing I need is another reason to not be in the chat for this. Oh! See, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to a schedule. Oh no, well now what you've done is you've driven everyone away. Now no one's watching us. We've just said that.
That's fine. It's fine. It's
Mate, everyone's gone and subscribed. What is it on New Japan World? That? I might go now.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right then. Okay. Well, see you later, everyone. Thanks a lot. Bye. Oh, well, I'm paying for that service and I'm not getting these benefits. I didn't even know that was. I didn't know that was happening. You know. I didn't even know that there was a show in America for people that were stuck here. Who's the roster?
Oh my gosh.
I'll put you on the spot now.
TJP.
TJ Perkins.
Yeah.
Okay.
PJ Black.
Have they all got initials? TJP,
Yeah,
PJ
that's
Black.
the only ones I remember. I'm picturing them all in my head and just not
Magnum
remembering
PI?
their names.
Is Magnum PI there?
Nope. They had Gorilla's Destiny.
What? They're stuck in the US?
Jeff Cobb.
GOD.
Kenta.
Are they over here? Kenta's over here.
Kenta's over here somehow. Yeah.
Oh, man, I need to get on this show. Well, not me, literally.
It's cool because it's just like all the people stuck here. So
okay,
you get some cool matches. Tom Lawler showed up. Had a great match.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man, we're not doing very well answering these questions. But anyway, right, let's move on. Right, Big Boy Dally. Big Boy Dally says, on a typical day, what do you eat for lunch? There we go. One from Big Boy Dally. I'll throw that to you.
There is no typical day.
There is no... That's a good answer. What's a typical day? You tell me what a typical day is in 2020. Yeah, well, do you know what? I miss lunch. I never have it. The way that my body clock is messed up. Like, UK time, I will go to sleep about 7 or 8 in the morning. Then I will end up getting up about 4 in the afternoon, maybe 5. Then, like, read on the news, like the wrestling news and everything, and basically get ready. I'll probably end up doing a video before a stream, seeing what people are saying on Twitter, doing whatever, walking the dog, having dinner, and then before I know it, I'm setting up the stream at 11 o'clock at night, and then I stream at midnight, and then go through till about 4. Then I might do a video after the stream, and by the time I'm getting around to like 7, 8, I'm going back to bed again, and that's kind of the cycle that I'm in. So lunch is like pretty much non-existent for me. And what would you have?
I eat lunch, but it's like it would be much easier question if you said, "What do you eat for breakfast?" Lunch is always
that's not
grab bag.
That's not the question.
It's always a mystery.
I would ask you about the breakfast thing, but I can't. My hands are tied. No one's sent that in.
Yeah, no one said it. Next time.
I'd love to know. I'd love to know the answer to that, but nothing I can do. Let's move on to John. John Dioria says, this one is for Triple T. If you got a job somewhere that was 24/7, would you still do the Wrestling Escape Pod?
No, because I believe that if you have a job that's paying you big bucks to be there 24/7, unless you mean like it's on call where there's some flex. But if you have to be somewhere 24/7, you're being paid. I'm no slacker. And I'm hoping my boss is seeing this because...
yeah, this boss of this 24/7 job that you don't have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if that make-believe boss is watching this, just so you know.
Yeah.
No slacker. No slacker over here.
I'm devoted. I'm committed.
Yeah. And
Svetlana, I'm committed.
What, is she your boss? What has she got you doing?
She's my boss now. She hired me for the 24/7 job.
Some kind of 24/7 sex slave. Is that what you've become?
I don't know. No.
Hey, you're the one that's got a hybrid bedroom study, right? That's all I'm gonna say. I ain't got that. That's on you. You're the one that's got the Spider-Man blanket. You've made your bed. You can sleep in it. Right. Wrestling Days fan says, question. During this pandemic, WWE situation has not been good. They started to lose money. Their ratings went down. That's not true about the money, by the way. We'll come back to that. And they even released more than 20 superstars in one day. Do you think when the crowd comes back, how much time will it take WWE to get back to where they were? So I suppose the question is there. How long is it going to be till WWE gets back to normal, if you will? What do you think?
I think when everything else gets back to normal, they'll get back to relative normal.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to take them long, if I'm being honest. I think that they'll need something big to wake everyone up. I think they'll need a bit of a crowds are back celebration episode, and heavily fill it with Stone Cold, Hogan, Undertaker. Do you know what I mean? Just like,
Yes.
you know, that night after WrestleMania.
Yes.
Crowds are back. Boom. Let's put on a big show. And honestly, I think they'll be, you know, back touring. And if they can have like a big surprise that's going to result in a CM Punk comes back, starts a feud with Roman Reigns. There's a lovely long feud. You can take them around on a few house shows. It's not going to take them long once crowds are back and we're up and running again. But honestly, I think you're probably looking maybe WrestleMania time by the time everything's really falling into place. I can't see crowds being back and us being at full capacity until 2021. I think we get crowds back by the end of the year, but not at 100%. So I think 2021 we get back to full crowds, maybe, hopefully, by the time we get to Rumble. And I think things will be up and running for the time we get to Mania. So, yeah, somewhere in there should be a big Raw, big SmackDown, welcome back crowds kind of a thing. So, yeah I think it'll be all right.
In like New York or something where the crowd will be hot.
Madison Square Garden. Let's go home.
Yeah.
Let's go home.
Yeah.
Madison Square Garden. Get the legends. Hot crowd. Beautiful. Or Chicago. Chicago's always a great crowd.
Yeah.
Certainly, if you bring in Punk back, you'd want to be in Chicago.
Yes.
Yeah, and the money thing, just as we said, that's not quite true. It's because they actually, on their last quarter, made 4 times what they would normally make because they're not spending money. They actually don't make a great deal from house shows. So not doing house shows, not having to cart the set around, the superstars around, worry about hotels and transport and all of that. They ended up with 4 times the amount of money, which is madness. It does make you question whether they'll start to wind down house shows. House shows, I think, have been in a little bit... It's crazy because house shows is what the business has been built on since the very beginning. Going around to different venues, putting on your show, that was wrestling. But now with the network and social media and YouTube and all of that kind of stuff, the importance of house shows has kind of diminished. House shows have become a problem. So I think, though, obviously they're going to keep doing house shows, but will they do as many? I don't know. It's got to be a bit eye-opening to make 4 times what you was expecting to make during a pandemic because you didn't do something, you know? So if there's one thing I know Vince loves, it is money. So Nando says, give me a second. I will get back to you guys. So we're going to have to just wait on Nando for a minute whilst he's still thinking here. So, okay, we'll move on. Mr. Rogers Epic Wrestling Collection says, I've got a question. If you and Tommy became a tag team, what would your name be?
That's for you.
Wow. Missing in action? Because I can't imagine that we'd ever make it to the ring. Because if ever I got booked for a match, I ain't showing up. So,
Same.
Actually, that would be a great gimmick. Could you imagine that? Us backstage getting, Triple H is like, right, I'm serious this time. You're definitely going to come to the ring. Yes. Look, we've bought gear. Here's our gear. Look, we've got our gear and everything. And like they play our music, we just don't show. We're just not there again. And then next week he tries again and we're like, yes, look, we've got the gear, but what was missing was our entrance. We didn't have entrance music. We can't come out with no entrance music. So we've sorted entrance music. John, come in and we'll have some kid with a drum or something and they'll drum away like this. And we were like, look, we've got the gear. We're definitely coming out now. And then we don't show. And then the next week, we're like, yeah, there was a problem because we got the gear and we got John's back. John, come in. John's there again. Right, but we're like, we didn't have the Titan, we didn't have the video package. What do you want me to come out to? A black screen? Like, I'm not poor. So, you know what I mean? So, like, yeah, but they've sorted it now, so we've got that now. And then, of course, we don't come out. And then next week, turns out I'm having an affair with Linda and that's it. We're off. Boom. We're off to the races. So, yeah, Vince, if you're watching, book that for you, mate. Did you have a thought on a team name?
No.
We'll go with yours. We'll go with missing in action.
Yeah.
And then we could have a YouTube channel together called Missing in Action Figures, where we review action figures. How about that? Right, Nando's back. Nando's here. Nando says, what is your... I don't know if you'll be able to answer this, because have you got the network?
I did.
Okay. What was the best thing you saw on the network? Be it a, like, you know, one of those documentaries, or like a special that they made for it, or maybe even if it was going back and watching an older show. I mean, I can answer this if you want a bit of time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
There's a few documentaries that I really recommend. There is one on Bruno Sammartino, and I think it's really important, certainly for like new fans to wrestling, that they watch that, because I think it's important to know that there was wrestling before WrestleMania. A lot of people go back to WrestleMania 1 and they're just like, wow, what is this? This is like, you know, the oldest, like ancient wrestling. Like, that's 1985. Like, wrestling goes back a lot further than that. So if you want to see like 60s and stuff like that, 70s, then this Bruno Sammartino, you can even go, I think it touches a bit earlier as well. So the Bruno Sammartino, and also, you know, longest reigning WWE champion, first reign for 7 years, second reign for 4 years, and like was the biggest name in wrestling in the 60s, or one of, up there with the NWA champion. So learning all of that and actually seeing the archive footage and seeing what he meant to people, it's so eye-opening. And it's a really interesting story, because he fell out with WWE and then came back, and they touch on all of that as well. So there's real emotion in there. He's one of the greatest of all times, and so I really recommend that. There's an Alondra Blaze one as well, which is really good. She's a wrestler that I really appreciate, but she's such a great female talent. And women's wrestling was awful in the 90s, but she talks a lot about like Japanese wrestling and how that influenced her, and she went to Japan, and then what it was like for women in the 90s in WWE, and then when she went to WCW and she put the title in the bin, which is a very famous moment, and how she left wrestling altogether, and then she became a monster truck champion, and how she came back and went in the Hall of Fame. It's, again, their documentaries are so impressive. They're so good. In fact, there's a whole series where there's just legends sat around a table talking. I think it's called Legends of Wrestling, and you got like Dusty Rhodes and Roddy Piper and Mean Gene, and they just sat around a table, and very much like this in a way. Like, each episode's a different topic, so they might talk about Andre the Giant, and so you got all these legends, and they're there with whiskey, drinking whiskey, smoking cigars, just talking and telling stories. Love that as well. So I don't think you can go wrong with any of the documentaries. Any thoughts?
I watched Legends House.
Oh, that was great.
It was enjoyable, yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
It was
like Big Brother,
cute.
wasn't it? Yeah.
What?
Like Big Brother.
Yes, it was like that.
They're
It was
all
like Love Island.
less bikinis.
Yes, unfortunately.
Thankfully, less bikinis. I mean, do you know what I mean? I do not need to see Hillbilly Jim in a two-piece, let me tell you. But yeah, no, if you've not seen it, it's a bit like Big Brother, in that they put all these legends into a house and they all live together, and then they go off and they do like little tasks and things. But it was good. I don't know why they don't do another series of that with obviously different legends, because a lot of them have sadly passed away now. But yeah, really cool. Good question, that. Austin316 says, will you guys do the Wrestling Escape Pod forever? How long will it keep going? I love it so much. He does love it. And I'm sure he's got a crush on you. I'm sure of it. Honestly. You might want to close that blind behind you. Austin316 might appear like this
right there
in the window. Just saying.
All right.
I mean, I think this is very enjoyable. It's a highlight of my week to sit down and talk with Tommy. So, yeah, as long as people enjoy it, that would be my answer.
Yeah, I'll go a little more in depth. This has been a fun quarantine project. I too look forward to it every week. For those that do not know, we started out initially taping 2 episodes in one day, which I was not the biggest fan. Now we tape 1 a week, and it's awesome. And it's like the highlight of my week. Instead of being like, oh my gosh, I got to stay up past my bedtime. It's like, oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
hang out with days. And it's the type of thing where it's like, yeah, I'm into it. I'm ready to do it. Of course, post-quarantine, I'll be back working. So schedules might get messed up. We might not be able to do it as often as we do now, but I'll certainly try to have regular wrestling escape pod content, because this is fun. This is genuinely fun.
We've always said from the start that this is meant to be a chilled, enjoyable thing. So I think it's really important that it stays that way. So it's like we've been, yeah, you're right. I mean, we've been getting like episodes out there every single week, and if it's a case that kind of settles down into gets stretched out, then so be it. I mean, whatever. It's just I think what's really cool is it doesn't have to go away. Do you know what I mean? Like it can go on, even if it went on hold for like a few months or something, it can always come back to it. So, and those videos are always there. But yeah, I mean, it's something that I really enjoy, and great to hear that Tommy does as well, and great to hear that you guys do as well. It's great to see so many people joining us on a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Right, 20. We've probably got about 15 minutes or so. Oh no, I'm so rubbish at getting through these questions. Speed round it. Right, 21/11/2020. This is at JB Mushmeister. Says, what are your thoughts on Willow the Wisp? And would you like to see him return one day? Maybe for a program with the Fiend. And what I love is John has responded to this and said, you always ask about Willow so much. I think you're addicted. So there's clearly some kind of Willow the Wisp addiction. Now, Willow the Wisp, right? I didn't even know that it was Willow the Wisp. Willow the Wisp sounds like something out of Winnie the Pooh, right? If you'd have said to me Willow the Wisp, I'd be like, wow, yeah, is he friends with Eeyore or something? So I didn't even know that was what it was called. Everyone calls it Willow, so I didn't know that it was called the Wisp. So
I didn't know that either.
Well,
it's a nice pun.
Yeah, there we go. So we've all learned something today. What's your relationship with Willow? I don't know anything much. Willow, I believe, was in TNA.
I saw a match that was the Young Bucks against the Hardys, and halfway through the match, Jeff Hardy went under the ring and came out as Willow. So I will say, sure, why not?
On board.
Also, I'm on board with JB's Kimberly profile pic.
Oh, hello. You're looking at things that I'm not seeing.
I guess.
Hey, what, JB Mushmeister?
Yeah.
I've got a black screen.
Oh.
I've just got a black screen. Why is Twitter showing you things that I can't see? Are you all right? I'm pretty sure it's...
JB's going to comment and be like, I never had it's black. It's always been black.
It's always just been a black screen. What are you seeing? A Kimberly profile picture?
Yeah. I'll screenshot it so you can have it up there.
Okay, screenshot it, and whatever you send me, I'll put up on screen.
Okay.
All right, cool. If you want to stop recording and have a lie down or something, like rest your eyes.
It's Kimber.
Okay, yeah, cool. No, I believe you.
I think.
Right. Okay. Read/wrestling no context machine /stink. Says, was there ever a storyline that had you emotionally invested? Go on, what you got?
Daniel Bryan.
Oh yeah, that was great. Yeah, I emotionally invested. Oh, Daniel Bryan definitely. The Streak definitely. Right, Chalmers says, who is the best to ever do it in the ring?
What?
Yeah, I was going to say, I've never seen anyone do it in the ring.
Edge and Lita.
Yeah! Sex celebration. I'm thinking Sean, but I feel like there should be a better answer than that. Do you know, actually, not long ago, I did look at a list of best technical wrestlers. Because this was a question that's come up before. And someone like Bleacher Report, I don't want to say Bleacher Report if it's not, so I'll say someone like Bleacher Report because I can't remember. They said William Regal, which I was very surprised at. But he is an excellent technical wrestler. So, are you going to go with one of them dirty indie boys?
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Jeff
yes.
Cobb, Olympian.
Oh.
Done. Kurt Angle, Olympian. Done. But what did he get, Kurt Angle? What was his gold for?
Wrestling?
Was it wrestling?
Yeah. Freestyle wrestling.
Yeah, sure, Kurt Angle.
Jeff Cobb, what did he achieve?
I don't know. I'll look it up. I know that he was an Olympian.
Okay.
I don't think he got any.
Well, he's not that good then, is he?
No, he's no Angle. So Kurt Angle, there you go.
Kurt Angle. Good answer. Monica King, shout out to you, my friend, says, what's one thing WWE did that made you the most mad/upset? First thing that comes to my mind is Sting losing and Booker T losing. Those two losses to Triple H probably annoyed me the most. I'd waited a long time for Sting to come to WWE, and for him to lose at WrestleMania, I hated that. And then, as we touched on before, we said we think one of the worst results was that Triple H Booker T. The build was awful. There was, so those two probably. What have you got?
I think for me, a big moment when my heart just dropped was when Rey Mysterio came out as number 30 during that Royal Rumble that Daniel Bryan didn't win, that everyone was hoping he'd win to go on to WrestleMania.
Yes. The Wrestling Kid says, if you could build your own faction of 5 people, who would you put in? I'll jump in if you're having a think. So I think yours is going to be good with some indie talent, would be my guess. I would look to have a faction of just the best wrestlers right now. So I'd be looking to have a faction of the likes of Okada. I would take Adam Cole. I would take Johnny Gargano. I'd probably put Omega in there because I think Omega is... I think he is putting himself on the back burner at the moment. I think if he needs to have a big singles match, he can do it, but that's not the story they're telling. He's in a tag team, and he's doing the tag team stuff. So I think against the right opponent, he would be incredible. So I don't know. You could have a faction of wrestling gods. Do you know what I mean? And just have just the best talent. And I think you'd want to be putting in like an AJ or a Daniel into that group. So yeah, is that about 5? I feel like it's about 5. What's your thoughts?
5.
Around that.
Suzuki, Moxley, Tom Lawler, Brock Lesnar, Nick Gage.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good faction. That'd be my faction against your. Bring them next week. I'll bring my boys. You bring your boys, and we'll settle this once and for all.
Yeah.
Right, Hayden Garrett asks, what's the greatest wrestling match in WWE history? I'm saying Undertaker Shawn WrestleMania 25.
I'm gonna say Cena Punk Raw.
Oh, Raw, not Money in the Bank.
No.
Oh, okay, fair play. A lot of people would say that Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not you.
No.
There we go. Jim Gore says, shout out to you, Jim, says, what 2 superstars, 1 male, 1 female, that have never been in WWE would you like to see join? Wow, that's a great question. That's a hard question. That's hard for me. Because my knowledge of what's out there is not brilliant. Well, I mean, like a Carter, of course. I mean, but that just feels like a lazy answer. I mean, I love Thunder Rosa. I love and Nick Aldis as well, current NWA champion. I really feel like there's a story they can tell there because Nick Aldis has had some words with Bruce Pritchard, and they've had a bit of a back and forth, and so they could really build something there. Plus, his wife is Mickie James, and they're really disrespecting her at the moment. She had a match the other day, and they actually brought Seth down to the ring, and the camera was on Seth. There was a match going on Raw, and they focused on Seth. And so this match was happening in the background. And then on Raw this week, just gone, she came down and had about 5 seconds, 10 seconds of airtime, and that was it. Like there's a ready-made story for Nick Aldis. I feel like Will Ospreay would be a good addition as well, but looking at how they've booked Ricochet, you'd probably say no. You'd probably say probably not. Daniel Cormier is a massive fan, former UFC heavyweight, light heavyweight. I think he would be a good person to bring in. I don't know if the WWE universe would like it, but as a UFC fan, I would like it. And he's legit a WWE fan, so he's coming in with his, his heart and head in the right place. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, the woman is really tough. I think because that's a very tough division to try and break into. As you said, like Mickie James came back and it's just like didn't do anything with her. So that one's tougher. But for man, Rod McMahon.
Rod McMahon, yes.
Yep.
The silent hidden McMahon that we have discussed. Yeah. Half brother of Vince McMahon. That would be cool, actually.
Yeah.
That's a really good pick, because that's out the box thinking. That is. I like that. So I would say Thunder Rosa. I'd love to see Thunder Rosa come in.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
And
both of them.
Yeah. So our official selections are Thunder Rosa and Rod McMahon.
Yeah.
Yes. Right. Rockin' Robin says, "What superstar, past or present, would you pick to be in a tag team with for both of us?" So who would be your tag partner?
Well, I think that the way this is going to go is we're both going to name one wrestler, and they'll be a tag team because we won't wrestle. So,
wow,
you throw someone out, I'll throw someone out.
Okay. Well, my standard answer, you're absolutely right. I've got no interest in wrestling, so I would need someone to do all the heavy lifting for me.
True,
so I've got to go with Brock Lesnar. I've got to go with the most dominant force out there right now. So if I have to go to the ring, I'm going with Brock. I'm just going to chill on the apron and let him do his thing. Who would you bring? Would you go similar?
If you go Brock, I'll go with Drew McIntyre.
Okay, I thought you might go Braun or something.
No,
Drew.
Because Drew beat Brock.
He did, in all fairness. That means your team would beat my team. I don't like that. Who's beaten Drew?
So many colleagues, probably.
Yeah, a lot of people actually thinking about it when he was in 3MB.
Yeah.
Right, Dave in real life, shout out to you, says, which current WWE superstar would you repackage or give a bigger push? I feel like Ricochet is, when he was Prince Puma, he was awesome in Lucha Underground, and now, like, I'd love for them to repack. I'd love for him to do a Prince Puma type thing. Have you got any thoughts? Ricochet, Cedric Alexander, Drew Gulak, maybe for you. You remember Drew Gulak, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I got one.
Yeah.
Give Oni Lorcan a better name.
Hey, was he only Lorcan on the indie scene, though?
No, it was Biff Busick, which I love.
Biff Busick?
Yeah.
He could have a feud with Kushida, because Kushida comes down dressed like Marty McFly.
Yeah.
And Marty McFly's sworn enemy is Biff.
Yeah, it's perfect. But instead he's stuck with Oni Lorcan. Change it, please.
There we go. Jesse Callan says, what would you do for a Klondike bar? I don't know what that is.
I'd pass.
You would pass? Do you know what it is?
Yeah, it's like an ice cream bar, but the outside is frozen chocolate, and the inside's just vanilla.
Well, that sounds... we call them choc ices.
Okay.
So, what would I do for a choc ice? Ask for it? I don't know. I'm pretty chilled about it, if I'm being honest. I've never been that high on chalk ices. They've always seemed quite basic, actually. Just a lump of vanilla ice cream with chocolate round. If this was like the 1940s, I'd probably lose my mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's
popsicles or something.
Yeah. Although in all fairness, it's 2020 and I'm still definitely losing my mind. Josh Rayner says, "Who do you think deserves a title run?" I'm gonna say Big E.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, I thought you might go with that. Big E, man.
Absolutely, dude. Because well, other than the tag, what was it? The Intercontinental has that been it?
Yeah, he's never had a world title run. Not in WWE. He was NXT champ, and he used to do that cool thing of
bring back the 5 count.
That's it. Bring back the 5 count. Right. I'm trying to see. There's a few more questions from people we haven't had questions from, so let's try and fit these in. Jacoby Snow says, "What's your thoughts on the Fiend?"
Oh, I'll do this. Watch our episode where we talk about the Fiends.
Yeah, unless you're a fan. If you're a fan, maybe don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I like him. I like him if he is a mental patient, split personality. All the darkness is the Fiend, all the light. I can get with that. That's a story that I really want to explore, and I like it. I've said it on my watch-alongs. When it goes to supernatural stuff, I do struggle then. And there's been a bit of supernatural spookiness at times that I've just struggled with. It's a little bit different with The Undertaker because I was young when The Undertaker started. Plus, I can't remember seeing that much spooky stuff. I mean, when he used to come down to the ring and have a match and just, cut a promo, I mean, there wasn't really anything spooky. It was much later as I got older when I was already, on board with Undertaker that I'd seen so much Undertaker stuff. When he did something a bit silly, I had the ability to just be like, "What you done that for? I don't like that." Do you know what I mean? Oh, what you done? Oh, come on. Yeah, but with the Fiend, because he's only been around for like a year, if he does anything supernatural, I haven't quite got that same connection with him. So I do struggle when it gets a bit supernatural, but I think he's very marketable. They're going to sell loads of merch. I think that by and large is great. I do think that a lot of what they've done has been on the money, but I mean that loss to Goldberg and things like that, you do go. There's no denying they could have made it even better. I don't think we can deny that. But yeah, no, you're not the biggest fan, are you?
No.
Cool. Jack P. Yeah. At McCheesepuffs says, "Shave your beard."
I really need to. So yeah.
You should. It is
really called me out on that one.
I don't want to be that guy, but it is unkept.
Yeah.
It is unkept. And I have seen a few messages from people saying they won't watch because of the state of your beard.
Okay, I'll see what I can do for next week.
Okay, cool. It would help ratings if you went back to your cutie pie ways.
Yeah, my youthful.
Went back to your boyish good luck ways.
Yeah.
Liam Costa says, "If you could bring back one pay-per-view, what would it be?"
All In.
Okay. Well, we do get that, don't we? Although they call it All Out.
Well, I mean, like a collaboration between so many companies at one time.
Yeah, that's cool. I would say, that's a good one, actually. I would say, and this is going to be out there, the Big Egg pay-per-view from '94. This was also a collaboration, but it was a collaboration in Japan, and it's the biggest women's show that they've ever done, and it had All Japan Women. It had a few different Japanese women promotions, actually, but WWE were involved as well. They sent Alundra Blaze over, and the WWF Women's Championship was defended on that show. But you had the likes of Aja Kong, Bull Nakano, Alundra Blaze. Like, it was a who's who of women's wrestling for 1994. It's one of my favourite pay-per-views. And if there could be a way of doing that again and just bringing the best women's talent together, then I think very similar to what Tommy just said there, very similar. Or if you want a more commercially acceptable answer, Halloween Havoc. I love Halloween Havoc. I'd bring that back. Right, just a couple more. What is your favourite wrestler from each era? That might be tricky because you don't really dabble too far back into the 60s and whatnot, do you?
Vince McMahon.
Yes, that pretty much boxes them all off. Favourite wrestler from each era? For the 40s, 50s, I would say. I mean, I won't go further back than that. 40s, 50s, I'll say Gorgeous George / Luthez. I think Gorgeous George, say 40s, early 50s. As you're getting towards the end of the 50s, Luthez, one of the most influential wrestlers ever. 60s, Bruno Sammartino. 70s, Dusty Rhodes, maybe. I think also Harley Race. One of those. As soon as you're getting into the 80s, that's tricky, the 80s, because you've got a lot. I mean, you kind of have to say Hogan and you have to say Flair. I mean, Warrior came along right at the end. There was some good tag teams in there as well. There's a lot of talent, actually, because you've got the Macho Man. There's quite a few. 80s is hard because it's just an explosion. But, yeah, one of those kind of names. 90s, I would have to say Undertaker for me. But I know you could say Stone Cold, Rock, and all of those. But I'd have to go with Undertaker. 2000s, maybe Shawn. I feel like when Shawn came back in 2002, that run was brilliant that Shawn had. He had matches against Triple H and Hogan, and obviously those classics against Undertaker. I mean, he had great matches against Chris Jericho as well. I kind of feel like that final run that Shawn had was brilliant. So I'd maybe go Shawn there. And then 2000s, that's tricky as well. I don't know who you'd go with 2000s. Who would you say for the last 10 years?
Brodus Clay.
Somebody call your mama. Yes. Brodus Clay. I think that boxes it. I can't beat that. Yep. I think that boxes it. Our final question from Archie. Archie Moores says, what is your favourite wrestling design belt and what is the worst? What's your favourite wrestling belt and what do you think's the worst?
Worst, Butterfly Divas belt.
That was bad.
Didn't we talk about our favorite before? And didn't we both agree it was the Winged Eagle?
Winged, yeah, I think we did, yeah.
Yeah.
Winged Eagle, I agree, being the best. I do like the United Kingdom one they have for NXT UK as well. Worst... Yeah, the Divas was bad. I don't like the 24/7 that's around at the moment.
Yeah, the TNT too. I'm not a fan of that belt.
Have you seen it now that it's been updated?
I don't see any difference.
It's got a bit of gold on it. That's about it. Yeah, I mean, it was funny actually because I saw people freaking out over it, saying it was like amazing. It's like I'll probably add it at about a 4. Now it's a 6. Maybe not even that. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Not the best. And that's it. That is all of the questions. We actually managed to get through questions by, I think, pretty much everyone that had sent them through. I don't think we've missed anyone. So a lot of shout-outs in there. And hopefully a lot of interesting answers as well. No idea what next week's going to be at this stage. Although...
I know what it's going to be.
Do you?
All in retrospective.
And what is it? You want to do all in?
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Yeah.
Unless people are like, what is this? But yeah, it's what is it? 1 year, 2 year anniversary?
I think you're right. It was around August time, wasn't it? So yeah, I think you're right. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that'll be a really interesting one to do actually. So yeah, let's have a look at that. So next week we're going to be talking about I suppose in a way the birth of AEW.
Birth of AEW, and so many of those wrestlers ended up at WWE. So many ended up at Team. It's just incredible to see where those wrestlers were then and where they are now.
Certainly, when it comes to the likes of Joey Ryan, yes. So
Yeah.
Do we know who the penis druids were? That information was never revealed.
No.
I mean, I should imagine it's the kind of thing you probably don't want on your Wikipedia page.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Especially nowadays.
Fun fact about Brock Lesnar: he was one of the penis druids at All In. There we go. So who knew? Who knew? It just doesn't really work, does it? So yeah, I can understand them all keeping that on the lowdown. So awesome. Well, that is it, my friends. We could sit. I feel like we've gone well over an hour, so we are definitely done. Craig has stayed around as well, so I want to give him a special shout out. Also, a big shout out to Discord for not kicking us out. Big shout out to you. Big shout out to the Boston boy, Tommy Toy Travels.
Also, a big shout out to Daze and Daze's audience. That was fun this week, popping into your chat.
Hey, I completely forgot to ask if that was you.
It was me, dude. Your audience, they're so nice.
Oh, you're loved. You
it's
are.
Such a great community there. Everyone's just like super hyped, super having fun. It's like a party. I love it.
Yeah, but you are. Do you know how many times I've had people asking me when I'm going to get you to pop in?
Is it many people or is it just Austin?
Yeah, it is. No, it is just Austin. It is Austin. There was another account, and I think that was Austin as well. In all fairness,
okay.
But, no, it is. Okay. It is many people. It is many people. There was a petition to make you a mod.
Yeah, people were going crazy. I was just like, I'm just stopping by.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, like, of course, I did it, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, that's probably not Tommy. It's probably not even Tommy. That's clearly someone just calling themselves Triple T and taking his profile picture. But I was like, I'll do it. I'll make him a mod anyway. They've gone to that trouble. Oh wow, there we go. I'm chuffed. I'm chuffed to know it was you. Okay, awesome. We're done. We are done anyway. We've got to go. Thanks a lot for watching, everyone. Really do appreciate the support, and hopefully see you again next time. Bye for now.